Hello and thanks for watching my video. Today it's a impression video and I wanted to talk about raids. Now, raids up until today, basically they've been the endgame content that were introduced with Heart of Thorns, where they came a little bit after Heart of Thorns was released. And this was the first wing of the first raid. So there's more wings to come into Guild Wars 2 for this first raid. Now, I was talking to a number of different people about this because I wanted to get overall perceptions, and you can see here, look, I'm a decent player. I've got over 26,500 achievement points. I'm a diamond rank PvP player. I know generally, you can look at my mastery rank is 161. I generally actually am a fairly decent player. I wouldn't say I'm the top end, but I'm not top end PvP. I'm not a top end elitist for PvE, but I'm a good player and I know my stuff. Now, when it comes to raids, I didn't really get involved too much. I played a little bit when it first was introduced, didn't defeat the Veil Guardian, and basically sort of gave up a little while Winter's Day came in. I had lots of things to get on with, and I was focused on getting the Heart of Thorns masteries completed, so I never really bothered with raids. That said, I created several characters. You can see here I'm on a Berserker. This is a complete ascended geared Viper statted warrior. And what we have here in the looking for group system is one of the main issues with raids. Raids at the moment are, they weren't designed for pugs, but they actually have got to the point where pugs can do raids. But actually getting into a group is the hardest part. And this actually brings me back to something they tried to avoid from Guild Wars 1, and that was waiting to have fun. You can see here, I've got myself looking for raid, PS Circ Warrior, or I can be an alternate, and I try several different variations, but no raid at all. No one actually joined me. Raids right now, if you want to join, if you're not in a guild group, it can take a long time to get into a raid. Just look at the amount of people actually looking for raids right now, and it really, at the moment, you spend a lot more time waiting to try and get in the group. Now, that being said, there are many people that have their set guild groups and will have their set times they do the raids. That's fine. I can understand that if you're in a group, your experience of raids will be much different. But if you are a player that's reached that peak, hit the, you've done the personal stories, you've done fractals, you've done a lot of other stuff, and you want to get into raids because it's the next step up, it's kind of difficult to get into it. Again, my guild doesn't really specialize in raids. We have a lot of different things we get involved with. We tried doing it at the start of raids when they came out. It didn't really go as what we wanted, and several people left to join other raiding guilds. And that's fine, that happens, and we accepted that our guild wasn't going to be a raiding guild. And so I've looked around and looking for groups to join, because I always saw that in the looking for group system there's people wanting to join raids. And so I thought, okay, cool, I'm a good player, I can join in, I've watched the videos on YouTube, I know how the mechanics work. It shouldn't be too hard to get into a raid, especially as you can see here, I'm trying any ability to try and get in. And I was wondering, well, look, how hard can it be? You've got, if you do the Veil Guardian, then you can push onto the Gorseval fight, so you can go just looking for Gorseval or looking for Sabbatha. But at this point, I'd not done the Veil Guardian, and I had not defeated it at all. And I was really struggling to actually get into raids, and I will have to say, up until a week ago, my impressions of raids would have been generally negative. I feel that the way that the raids are set up, it's fairly elitist. I think when I say it's fairly elitist, I don't mean that in a set negative way, because it was designed to be like this. It's not designed, the idea was that it would take some coordination, and I appreciate that. I think that is a good idea, but I also think I should be able to get in to join a group. Hell, in Guild Wars 1, it didn't take this much effort to get into a particular, a particular thing. And I actually have some guy join me who didn't really know. Again, so someone who's brand new who bought the game a couple of days ago, you'll see me in the comment section, and he didn't know anything about raids. He didn't realize you needed to have, masteries and ascended gear. And I just think raids right now, they're fine for those elite players that are set in their groups that will complete it every week. But for those of people trying to get into raids, it's pretty difficult. The barriers to entry are fairly high. To actually get into a group, advertising, it's so hard. You can be lucky and get in, and that's where I'm going to come on to the next stage of my video. Because up until a week ago, my impressions with the raids was just this. I spent 45 minutes to an hour just sitting here waiting for a raid. I was waiting by the door just in case somebody popped out and would put, in say chat, are you looking for a raid? And I spent a long time just waiting. Fortunately, I managed to pop online another day, and just at one point I logged in, it was looking for a Revenant for raid, and I was like, they've already got people, sweet. So I joined them. But before I go on to that, I wanted to show you something. This section here, there's Raid Guild Recruiting, Exceptional Players, Eternal Only. Now, that to me, again, is a huge barrier for new players getting into raids, and it just shows you that people aren't willing to, even though raids are fairly new, and a lot of players still have not completed, the Veil Garden. You can see here, this is, I wanted to show you a couple of runs, just something that, we did. This was my group that I was with. So you can see here, we've got a few Burnzer, we've got a few Warriors, Druid, Revenants, a Daredevil, a couple of NGs, and a Reaper and a Chrono. The actual tank was, I think it was the Chrono who was running, but I was running Hammer initially. This was one of the failed stages because I was in the circle group. So for those of you not aware, you have to have 4 people in the circle, otherwise your complete party wipes. And again, you've got the break bar that you have to cleave down. And I'd always been in the circle group. Every raid I'd done, I was one of the groups that I'd always focus on the circle because I'd keep my eyes out. I'm aware of where they are on the map. And I'll fully admit my Revenant play wasn't fantastic at this point because I was asked to change to Revenant. Now this is a DPS Revenant I'm running, and I'd never ran a Revenant in raids before. I'd been a Necromancer, I'd been a Berserker, I'd been an Elementalist, I'd been a number of different things because I have all those characters fully ascended. And so they asked me to be Revenant, and I said, yeah, that's no problem, I can be that. And obviously, I've never played it, so it was taking some use to getting how it works in raids. But as you can see here, the Veil Guardian, we're doing fairly substantial damage. We're doing okay, it's not too big a deal. We're having a few people downed, and that's a slight issue because of the Seekers. And remember, this is a pug group, really is. This is just like a pug group that was, again, you can see here, this is where we're all going to wipe. But basically, this was what it takes, and this is how it can go if you are a pug group. But a lot of people had never done this before, and this was where I was happy to take the time and say, look, it doesn't matter if we fail. Let's actually get used to the mechanics of the fight. And we're getting more and more people being introduced to raids right now. So what you're going to see now is we've changed the setup, the comp, and we're actually running, we have a tank was the Chronomancer, and this is us actually, again, it's a pug group. We had a couple of people change and leave. So this was us doing the Veil Guardian, and this is actually my very first kill of the Veil Guardian. And I wanted to share that with you guys to show that this is a pub group, and you can do raids. As long as you're in, you get your fully geared, you can learn how to your profession works the best. You can see here now I'm running staff and dagger. I was running staff for the break bar. I was really worried about the break bar. And again, yes, I'm using some click skills, but so that I was really focusing on the break bar, so hence why I'm actually running a DPS staff, a power precision ferocity staff. This is my Bifrost. So here we go, the break bar, and that was my job to try and kill it. And there we go, we've got 25 seconds on the Veil Guardian left. I ran to the circle just to cover, and there we go. I completed the Veil Guardian. I got the mastery track. You can see what we get there. I got a new mastery track so I can get up to 163. But there we go, guys. That is me doing the raid at the Veil Guardian for the first time. And I have to say, after several tries, I didn't think the Veil Guardian was too tough a boss fight. That changed when you get onto Gorseville. Gorseville is a bit of a pain, but getting into this group and having a couple of people actually that I was party with, and they've actually organising more and more guild raiding runs, I'm feeling a lot better about raids, and that's what it should be. You know, it should allow you, you know, as a pug, to get into raids by having a little bit easier. And that's what I'd like to know. You guys that have not done raids before, what is it that puts you off from doing raids? And those of you that are heavily involved in, you know, doing raids and you've completed them, and you'll probably laugh at some of the stuff I've done in this video, what is it that you feel, you know, do you think raids are in a good place right now? I just think, in my opinion, I think the raid has been well designed. I just think the barriers to entry are slightly too high. So that's my view on the raids right now. I'd love to hear your discussion on this. Please leave comments in the section below, and I'll see you on the next one.